A good look at what the riders see. There is Gemma Lee Farrell, Miss Monster Energy Cup. Congratulations to her. The Nuclear Cowboys hole shot is around the corner.
There you go.
All right, this is it.
So much pressure on Villopoto because he has to win. He has no choice here but to win if he wants to stay alive for that monster million. Getting ready to drop the gate. Villopoto with another great start. He's going to get that hole shot. Dungey's right there trying to get to the inside. Metcalf coming with him.
With Dungey, let's see, he's got that wide line.
He's got second clear now. He cannot allow Villopoto to just check out and start to gap them.
Here we go. This is what we want to see right here.
Yeah. This is going to be a big moment here to see just how comfortable Dungey is on this new KTM, and if he's got anything for the new champ. Yeah, he's looking pretty fluid at this point. He's got to keep his head together, which, you know, Villopoto has always been such a great rider under pressure, and you got to think that million being on the line and all that. That's a very pressure situation. I mean, he is exceptional when it comes to that. He just has a way to just zone out, and focus on what he needs to, take all of the distractions and get rid of those. That's why he's such a spectacular athlete.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he lets too many things upset him, never has. You know, he just goes out there, does his deal, and rolls with it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he rides on emotion, right? No. He keeps all of that in check and just stays very level-headed. He keeps his emotion and everything out of it.
Not a boisterous guy in any way. Oh, Michael Alessi having his issues.
Well, of course, this knocks him out of the million, but there's a $250,000 purse for this event, too. So you get on into 10th place there. There's still a lot of cash to be made, cash that he needs. Yeah. And with this type of finish, man, he's going to be way down in that purse breakdown.
Wow, dude, this guy's checking out.
Ricky, how much of an issue, we talked about it in our feature piece where they discussed the silly season. How much of an issue is it going to be for Villopoto with Mike Fisher not being the team manager when we get to Anaheim?
No, I don't think it matters so much. I mean, I don't know Mike too well, but obviously right now it doesn't look like it has any effect. There are great people out there. I think that they will find to replace him, and life will go on.
We did talk to the folks at Kawasaki about that at the Monster Energy Factory team. They are searching for that replacement for Mike Fisher. Expect to have an answer on what their plans are in the next couple of weeks. Here's Aaron.
Michael Alessi shaking his head in disappointment. What a day it's been for you. A big crash during practice, and now right out of the gate, you're having a mechanical. Walk us through what happened out there, Mike.
I don't know. Right as I came over the gate, just immediately the shifter was broke. You can see it right here. Just frustrating. I had a good jump, and as soon as I went to shift, it was gone. It just broke off. So hopefully do better the third moto. We'll go back and change the shift lever. So just how good stuff happens. Bad luck.
Best of luck for the third main event tonight.
Guys, that is a very, the shifter never breaks unless you wad it into something, right? For that part like that to fail, that's like a $30 part, that has got to be frustrating.
That's Ben Townley on the 101. He holds fourth. Eli Tomac on that Geico Honda, charging hard from fifth.
Remember Tomac, he was fifth in Moto 1.
Adam Cianciarulo cheering on his heroes.
That's cool. Look at Tomac, man. That's pretty cool.
Tomac's there.
There it is. Inside move on Townley. Wow. Nice pass.
Watch this, though.
A little retaliation coming up here.
Trying to get there. Clean. Can't get it done. Tomac pulls away.
Well, remember the race here that we had in that Supercross Lights finale, that West Coast finale. Tomac and Tickle, who were battling for that title just a few months ago, they were coming through the pack, and it was scrambled. These guys were all over the place. So Tomac got a lot of experience, at least here this year, with that type of riding, trying to block that inside.
Ricky, one thing we haven't really talked about, you in Jeremy McGrath spent so much time designing this track. Are you happy with the way it's playing out?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, I'd like to see a little bit more side-by-side racing, but we went with a unique design, some bigger jumps and things like that. It could be a little bit better, but you live and learn, and you improve it for next time.
Well, I'm not the only one that wants to ask you a question. We got a Twitter question for you, Goat. Do you think Villopoto's going to run away with it like you did when you were on top of your game?
I don't know. Obviously, right now he is. There's no doubt about it, and he seems like, he's just taking all this momentum that he's had all year and carrying it on, and it seems that he's going to walk away with it. Yes, it does at this point right now.
Thanks to Sean J185 for the tweet.
But you never know. It's all in that start, too, you know.
Our system of bringing riders from the amateur ranks like Cianciarulo and those guys that came through the Amateur All-Stars and the Supercross Lights and then on up to Supercross right now is exceptional, and it seems like we don't just graduate like one superstar. It seems like there's 3 or 4, extremely talented, riders with a lot of determination. They've got preparation, and I think it's how they are making that transfer, like with Zach Bell going to the Factory Connection Honda team, already having experience with that team, and then when he turns pro, he's already had his mechanic, he's already been at the test tracks, and so it helps make that transition even easier.
Martin Davalos looking for a pretty good payday here today. He's running in 8th here in race number 2, chasing Jake Weimer, Villopoto's teammate on the Factory Kawasaki.
Pretty solid ride here for Davalos inside the top 10. He's got to be happy to be here riding this event. I mean, he's had some ups and downs here, and he's a rider from Ecuador.
Right.
And he's always been a real Supercross specialist, and especially at the beginning of the series when we race Monster Energy Supercross, he always comes in as one of the favorites, but he seems to not be able to put the pieces together with bad luck and things like that. So hopefully gaining experience riding in the premier class like what we have here today in this all-star type of event is going to help him once we hit January of 2012, because he will be a veteran and he's got a lot of Supercross Lights main events under his belt. He's going to be expected to win.
No, absolutely. You start to run out of time, and you don't live up to your expectations. People start to kind of give up on you, really. So, and it's frustrating because he's such a great kid and he rides really good and shows a lot of promise at times.
Eventually, the excuses of it's the equipment or bad luck or whatever run out, and people just assume it's you.
Yeah, absolutely. You can only blame it so many times on certain things, and with this sport, a lot of it is on the rider, not like different sports. There's not really anything to blame because all these machines are pretty good.
And that's one of the beauties of the sport as well.
Yes.
And let's take a look at our Dunlop replay from this race.
Watch this here. Villopoto just so focused, and it's a close one because you got Metcalf, Dungey on the inside, but Villopoto just gets a wheel on.
Hey, Jeff, he didn't even shift. He left in second gear the whole way. Maybe that's the thing. Everyone else is shifting up, and he's just leaving it in second.
Hey, these 450s, they will run and run on them RPMs. Ain't like in our old two-stroke days. And that thing signs off and starts to over-rev. Oh, the horsepower decreases so much, so quick.
And look at how he is just charging, man. So much intensity.
And that's got to be a great feeling because they have this new 2012. They just kind of started with the suspension specs and everything. It's 2011.
Oh, okay. 2011.
No homologation rules needed for this event.
Oh, problems for Townley. Ben Townley's Kawasaki having its problems.
Shaking his head there, looking at the front wheel. Possibly something happened to the wheel, maybe flat tire.
He's talking about the bike.
Second in the first race. Oh. There goes the monster, well, not the Monster Million, but that $100 grand for winning. Out the door.
And that will certainly increase the amount of money that Dungey's going to take out of here. He's running second right now. He's looking at a third and a second.
That's pretty smooth.
See that throttle control?
Let's find out what the problem is with Townley. Aaron is with him.
That's right, you guys. Very disappointed Ben Townley. Ben, the last time we saw you race Supercross was here in 2007. The look of frustration, take us through what's going on with your bike right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Something's either wrong with one of the wheels or the disc or something, and I'm not willing to risk it, to be honest. It's when I'm in the air, the gyro isn't straight. Something's moving either on the front wheel or the rear wheel. And I actually thought I had a tough block cover caught in it, but it's not that. Something it keeps happening on the two big jumps, and yeah, I don't want to carry on. So.
What a disappointment for Ben Townley. He did say to me earlier that would rather be on no other bike than a pro circuit.
Yeah, and that's interesting. So what he's talking about is when he's in the air on those big jumps and you get a chance to kind of rev it out and the wheel's moving back and forth, right? So it's shaking the bike around and you know, hey, it's not supposed to do that. Like he said, he didn't know if it was on the front or the rear. They were taking a look at it. At first I thought he was going to say that the rotor was bent and that the front wheel was locking up, but he didn't mention that.
Yeah, there might have been a piece of dirt on the wheel. That'll throw it off and make it wobble. You see that. Sometimes you get some mud on there. Obviously not much mud on there. But, and with his injuries that he's had the last few years, quite honestly, I don't blame him.
Right, and with the Monster Energy Supercross season just, weeks away from getting started in Anaheim at the beginning of January, he has to keep that in the back of his mind.
This is a man of the hour right here.
Boy, and what, you talked about it earlier, everything he has already won this year.
Yeah, he's working on the perfect season, man.
What a year.
No, this Supercross season, Supercross Championship, Motocross Championship, Motocross of Nations Championship, and if he wraps this up, you can't win anymore.
Hey, in my career, it was up and down. There were some bright spots, there were some low spots. Ricky, you had a pretty consistent high spot going, but what I really enjoyed about when you were in those moments, if it was the first year of winning championships, you don't know if there's ever going to be a second year. And like with this opportunity here to be at this event, this inaugural Monster Energy Cup, you never know if there's going to be another one. I'm saying, as far as the rider. And so you got to go out and you got to be focused and you got to race every opportunity that you have. The thing that I always wonder about, too, is only a few years ago when Villopoto had that really bad wrist injury, and they took out the navicular. And I remember hearing that, hey, his wrist might only last a few years until the bones start moving around. Well, are we into that situation?
I'll tell you what, the way he's riding, if I'm Brian Villopoto, I was wishing Anaheim was next week.
Oh.
Because he just looks like he is so in the zone.
Yeah, but I don't think Ryan Villopoto is wishing that.
No.
Right now.
Physically, he probably would like the break, but boy, he looks like he is on the top of his game. Which also brings up a question too, Ricky, which falls right in your lap because you've had seasons like this, and we see it in other sports where a team wins a Super Bowl or World Series, and then they have that bit of a championship hangover, and it's tough to repeat the next year. What does Villopoto have to do over these next 10 weeks before the Monster Energy Supercross season begins to stay in the zone he's in tonight?
Yeah, he has a lot to do. Well, number one, he's going to want to take a break, and then before you know it, it's time to start testing, and you start your training camp, to prepare for 2012, so you really don't have much time.
But what did you do mentally to keep yourself focused like that?
Well, you just plan on things, and you put yourself in a position where you know where you have to be and things you did wrong the year before, the previous year, and where you can improve. That's what I would do.
Final lap, Jeff.
A couple laps ago, Dungey was up around 9 seconds. Dungey's actually closed it down to about 7 right now. I wonder if Dungey's found some better lines. Villopoto doesn't seem to be slacking off at all at this point, but Dungey's right there. This is a solid ride because he had to come past, a couple guys in that first one and kind of struggle, but hey, Dungey's setting himself up for this final race here. Now, Villopoto will get first gate pick in this one, and if I'm Dungey, I'm going, okay, if I feel comfortable, I'm going for it in this third main.
Checkered flag. He's 2/3 of the way to the Monster Million. Brian Villopoto has done it again. Dungey improves from race number 1, a second here in race number 2.
And only finished 6.5 seconds off the lead that time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't give the million away quite yet. We still have one more main event to go.
Because if you can't wick it,